All right. Welcome to today's show. We're going all the way out to Michigan this time now as the Rody Runback keeps expanding our brand. And I'm very excited to have a very special guest. He is Charlie Garbowski. He's a senior guard for Royal Oak High School boys basketball team. Charlie, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well. How's everything out in Michigan? What's it like out there with COVID for all the listeners? We're just kind of curious. I mean, it seems like things are starting to open back up. What's going on out there?
So we were one of the worst states. So we didn't start our basketball season until January, February. So we had a little shortened 2 month season. But everything now is starting to open back up. If everything, you don't have to wear a mask under 100 people outside, and don't have to, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask indoors, depending on the establishment. But everything's looking better than it was a couple months ago. I can definitely say that from what I can understand. So
That's good. Yeah, it seems like things are taking a turn for the best, and it was the same here in Rhode Island. We also had a shortened season here. I think we started in mid-January, late January, and then finished up in like early March with finals and everything as well compared. But before we get to basketball, I gotta ask: are you a Michigan State guy or a Michigan guy?
Michigan State,
Michigan
Cassius
State.
Cassius Winston.
Yeah, Cash Swiston all the way.
Yeah.
Oh man, what do you think about that? I mean, do you think they're gonna have like? Do you like them for football too?
Yeah, every sport doesn't matter. Just don't like Michigan. So
What's the rivalry like? Like, what's that like in the state?
it's crazy because I have firsthand experience because I have two cousins that live together, that one goes to state and one goes to Michigan.
Oh boy.
So I can feel that it's a crazy rivalry. Uh Definitely like one of the games circled, like as a fan, we may not win a game all year in football. As long as we beat Michigan, that's a successful season for us. That's type of like it's intense here.
It sounds like something I've heard before on the other side of Michigan. I think everyone. I think, but with Michigan's like beat Michigan State, and I think it's beat Ohio State. But yeah, with Michigan State, it's definitely an interesting rivalry. I definitely want to catch a game for football and for basketball out there. I'm sure it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, very, very intense. I know Michigan State that had a little letdown year in basketball, but we split the season series with Michigan, and it's still very intense no matter what the records are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think Michigan State too is one of those teams, even when I think they were playing team this year, but it's one of those teams you can't count out because of Coach Izzo for basketball.
For sure, for sure. Coach Izzo's
Definitely.
a magician with what he does, but we got a nice recruiting class this year, so hopefully we'll final four bound.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We'll check it out. Hopefully, we'll see what happens with them. But all right, so now I want to get into your basketball. I was just curious about that, just for being out in the Michigan area. But I want to know, how did you get into basketball? What really drove your passion for basketball?
So I'm a late bloomer in basketball. I started playing 12, 13. That's when I really started playing. But at first, it was just playing outside with my friends. Just playing pickup on the street. Playing 21 stuff like that. Then I realized that I had nothing to do in the winter because before I was a football and baseball player, those are my sports. So I was like, I have nothing to do in the winter. Why not play basketball? So that's where me playing basketball started. I didn't start realizing that I wanted to play basketball like in college and professional until I was about sophomore year or high school. So what drives me is just wanting to be like good, being great. Just being a late bloomer. I know I have to work harder than right now than most people do, but just wanting to be the best at everything I do is how I go through life, is just being the best at whatever I do. So that's what kind of drives me to play basketball.
That's awesome. That's great that it drives your passion. It's something to say too for being a late bloomer. I mean, you are playing at the next level. You're playing college basketball, which is amazing. This is something about you, about your hard work and dedication, which we'll get into that a little bit later down the line. But when you're saying you're playing pickup with friends and stuff like that, like and like that generating that passion and how it make you want to work harder. Was there also like a player or someone too that you watched as well too that like really make like a watching any team that made you really into it as well too?
Uh, Watching Kobe, at the end of his career, watching Steph Curry, how he changed the game with his shooting ability. Those are probably the two players that made me want to play basketball. Kobe, the way he handled basketball, the way he worked out, the way he carried himself on and off the court. You never heard anything bad about him. But you all you hear is stories about how Kobe was in the gym 3 hours before the game, and some player shows up 2.5 hours before the game and he's already in a full sweat. And just the way Steph Curry also handles himself on and off the court, and the way he changed the game with his shooting ability, brought something new to the game, extending range, changed this generation for sure. Those are probably two reasons why I play basketball right there.
Yeah, those are some really two good reasons of why I play basketball. Now, can you shoot like Steph that deep three?
Uh, I have the range. Now just the consistency. Definitely, I'm getting there. So
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Hey, getting there is a part of the process. It's part of the
yeah.
growing of the sport and everything like that. What's some of the things too for being like a late bloomer? What was it like trying out for high school and playing high school ball? Like, what was that like?
So trying out for high school was it wasn't it's it wasn't hard because I'm just like so naturally athletic. Everything it came to me easy, but I wasn't like I wasn't the best. It was so I made a freshman team. I don't know if you guys have that on Rhode Island, but we
Yeah.
have a little freshman team. I made that, and then sophomore year, I was the JV team captain, starter, and all that. But it was just working out for me, just constantly playing basketball. Especially freshman year, we had a lot of practice at 7 to 9 at night, and so I just stayed after school by choice. To just keep working, shooting around, working on skills with my coach, my watching the varsity practice, just little stuff like that that helped me get better over time. And then when sophomore year started, it's when I really start to understand the concept of working out, lifting, and just stuff like that. So, but it just really all came to me naturally at first, but eventually started working out and got better. So,
Yeah, that's great. That's everything else started clicking. It sounds like the natural athlete was there, and then it's just more the understanding the concept of practicing and working out and developing those skills a little bit more as well too. And now through your freshman to junior year, is there a game or anything that really sticks out to you that like that was a lot of fun and that like you enjoyed the most?
I'd say end of junior year playoff game was probably one of my favorite games because my junior year, first year on varsity, struggled a little bit. I went from starter as a junior on varsity, then didn't play for the middle part of the season, then started earning my minutes back up again to being a starter for the playoff game. And so just junior year, going through that, struggling mid-season, but being able to come back to the playoff game and being one of the leading scorers in the game. So that I think that's my favorite game because that just shows me like how hard if I work, I can continue to go up. And it was amazing to be a leading scorer in a high school playoff game too.
Yeah, what's the atmosphere like too playing in that playoff game and doing what you do, being a leading scorer and everything? How crazy was the crowd, or was it like were you playing away?
We were playing away, but we were playing. Our district was with a bunch of Detroit schools, and so they have crazy atmosphere there. Just kids being there, it was loud, and they might not have the biggest crowd, but it will be loud if you play there. So it was just amazing to play behind, almost like it was a home game, but for the other team, because we played the host of the tournament of the playoffs. So it was just amazing to go in there and hush the crowd a little bit. Just felt good to make them be like, "Who is this kid?" It's just like it was amazing to do that for
That's
sure.
awesome. Yeah, I'm sure that's got to be a lot of fun. I'm sure it's always fun to go into another place too. You can kind of silence the crowd a little bit and keep them down.
Yeah, for sure. It's love it.
That's awesome. And when COVID hits and everything like that, with the uncertainty of like possibly not having a season because like you said, Michigan wasn't doing that well with the COVID numbers and everything like that. What was running through your mind? What were you doing in the off season, the extended off season exactly for COVID, like to keep yourself ready to go?
So we ended junior year after the playoff game because we lost the playoff game, but it was the day after that everything shut down. So at first, I really took COVID as an advantage to work out. I'd work out 2, 3 times a day with school being all kinds of weird hours. So I just worked out 2, 3 times a day. Did some dumbbell workouts in my room outside, running, and then once did that for about till the end of May, June time, and then I really just had to figure out what I was going to do for my recruitment process going into the summer because I had never played AAU before and I had uncertainty of high school. So I thought the next best decision and area possibly playing college being play AAU. So did some research. I talked to some friends that I know, and I tried out for an AAU team and made it. So we started about mid July or mid June, and then had tournaments all the way through July and a little bit into August. So that really helped my recruiting process just to get film, just to keep playing and against better competition too. And then I had football season. We were able to play football. So I was able to do that, stay in shape, and then continue work out in my own time. And then going into the season with the uncertainty of it being, flu season with the winter and fall switch. But I did a lot of private runs with good competition with other kids playing college basketball through a different AAU team that I played against. And my friend knows the coach, the coach of that team. So I did a lot of stuff through them. Just playing and working out, keeping myself active, and just waiting for the chance to come back. And then eventually we started practicing, no contract practices, and eventually we got to play again. So a lot of playing against better competition for me. That's what I did.
That's awesome. And now, when you play against better competition and you get into those games at the senior year, do you feel like the game slowed down for you a little bit?
Yeah, the game definitely slowed down. It was a lot easier for me my senior year. Obviously, having experience on varsity at the end of my sophomore year, getting pulled up for playoffs, and then junior year. But playing against kids in AAU definitely slowed down the game because AAU is not like your high school game. It's fast paced. It's really fast paced, just like a college game, almost like you're shooting with a shot clock, but you're not. So, but that definitely helped me slow down the high game in high school for me to better my IQ and better my playmaking as being a point guard. Definitely helped a lot with slowing down the game, being able to make the right decisions at the right time. So I felt like it was a big help playing AAU with recruiting, with getting better skill wise, and understanding the game of basketball too at a faster pace. So when we got into the slower games, it definitely helped me out a lot.
That's great. That's awesome. That's amazing. It just sounds like you really worked hard in the off season and things really paid off for you. And it definitely helped out with like recruitment and everything like that for yourself. Now, with the shortened season, I have two questions with this one. Is it how many games was it? And then was there a favorite game in that shortened regular season?
We had 15 games. We were supposed to play 16, so we only missed one due to COVID. I missed two because I had my little brother got COVID, so I missed a couple games. But other than that, we played about 15 games, including the playoff game. But probably my favorite game uh, would be a game I eventually lose. We were playing a team called Holly. It was a back and forth game. It was their senior night, last game of the year before playoffs. Just played amazing and eventually hit a game tire to send it into overtime. Then hit 2 threes to try and keep us in the game. But we eventually lost. But that probably my favorite game. It was the first time I really hit a game tire, game winner type thing. So it was
That's gotta be a lot of fun. Like that excitement of hitting that game tire and like yeah, it was, and then trying to keep your team in the game and over, like hitting a couple big threes and stuff like that. I mean, what's the excitement of just hitting that game like tire? Like how pumped were you guys?
I mean, we weren't really pumped because they still had an opportunity to go score, but I was pumped because uh it was just first time I ever did something like that. And last game of the year, struggling season this year. But to be able to pick it up the last couple of games and almost win our last game before playoffs to a very good Holly team was definitely exciting to be able to play. So I was hyped inside, but like knew we had to get a defense stop real quick. So
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That's great. It's exciting when you hit a shot like that, and it just kind of sets change, like gives you a little more energy. I feel like it gives you another boost of energy to keep, want to keep playing harder and like finish out the game. What was the playoffs like? How'd you guys fare in the playoffs this year?
we lost first round by 5, but it was at a very cool gym, very cool gym at Renaissance, like almost a college type field gym, but just it was it was interesting. Not as many fans, just parents and stuff. But it was interesting on how we played because we played very good that game. Got some key players back that we didn't have for majority of the season. But it is what it is. Nothing you can really do about it. Shots weren't falling, honestly. That's pretty much, and we only lost by 5, so nothing you can really do about it. But some days you're on, some days you're off.
Yes, can't control the situation at hand. Unfortunately, if you're off, they can't control that. And what was it like? Just the end the high school career with unfortunately the loss, but like what runs through your mind? What's the next thing that's like big for you?
Just getting ready for college. Not really mentally, but physically, because I feel like my IQ, I've been told my IQ is basketball IQ is higher than most. Just I'm always thinking to play ahead. So for me, it was getting physically ready, getting skill wise ready too. So just constantly working out, staying conditioned too. Those are kind of my big things. But just getting those are really what I really focused on after high school. And obviously finishing out senior year, getting the good grades, graduating. But that's what I really wanted to focus on was my skill.
That's great. And congratulations on your commitment to play at Finlandia. That's hopefully I said that right. Finlandia University. That's amazing. And for being a late bloomer and to see how far you've strived from, starting basketball 5 years ago when you're 13 to now you're 18 playing college basketball. That's a great accomplishment, man. It says a lot about yourself, Charlie, of how hard you worked and how far you've come in this life. And basketball, you still haven't hit the peak, you still haven't hit your ceiling, so there's more to come, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure, more to come. Especially the more I work out and the more I get my skill to where it needs to be. Definitely be able to hit my ceiling sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully as soon as like a little further down the road, maybe when you're in the NBA, when you're like 33 or something like that,
Yeah.
that's when you hit your ceiling. But that's awesome, man. It's awesome to hear your story and the hard work and the dedication you put into it. What are you going to major in college? What are we looking forward to majoring in?
So I'm gonna major in sports management because Finlandia is one of the one of the few schools that actually has sports management as a major, not a minor. So definitely going to the business side of the sports world.
Nice. That's awesome. That's great. What would you want to do with sports management? What would you want? What's your like? What would be
Well,
your goal?
the ideal goal is to become the general manager of the Pistons because I'm not a big fan of their draft picks. But if after basketball, be some type of recruiter or even a coach. because I'm right now I'm helping my former AAU coach his AAU team in the summer. So definitely some type of coaching at the professional level for sure, or even college.
Nice. That'd be great. Yeah. Well, we gotta flip the Detroit Pistons because they've been on a struggle bus for a little while there.
Yeah.
What do you thought on the Pistons? Do you have a favorite player on the Pistons as well too?
On the Pistons right now, not really. Hopefully next year we draft Jalen Suggs, or we're projected to draft Jalen Suggs. So hopefully we actually get to draft someone along that line of top players in the draft, and hopefully they'll become my favorite players. But not currently, not
Not
really.
currently.
It was Blake
Yeah.
Griffin.
Yeah, Blake was good, and then unfortunately they didn't keep him, and he ended up going to the Nets, and now the Nets are stacked. What are your thoughts on the NBA playoffs now of everything that's going on?
I don't really understand the playing game type thing.
I don't either.
But there is a great playing game tonight. Steph versus LeBron.
Oh, it's
But
tomorrow. It's tomorrow night.
tomorrow,
I
yeah,
learned that too. I thought it was tonight too. I was all excited, and my friend who's a Lakers
yeah,
fan corrected me.
yeah. I know they're all here. Everything's posting is like saying tonight. I'm like, but tomorrow night, LeBron versus Steph. Definitely going to be a great playing game. But I'm not a big fan of the NBA right now, just because I think it's soft.
Yeah,
A little soft, but I like it. Like back when the Bad Boys or Michael Jordan played, that was probably my favorite era, or even the 2000s. But I enjoy watching the games, but not a really big fan of it.
yeah. You watch more college games than you watch the NBA?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just feel like the intensity is more there in a college game than an NBA game. I feel like a lot of NBA teams are getting blown out, and they're professionals. Don't really see the need in that.
yeah. I know. I fully agree with you. I'm right there with you on that one. I'm a big college basketball fan than before. I watch more college basketball than I watch NBA. I'll pay attention more to the NBA when it comes playoff times, but
Yeah.
it's a little more intense. Are you a Lions fan?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. What do you
Lions.
think? You got Goff and you got Coach Campbell.
I mean, I'd rather have Stafford, but I appreciate the Lions for getting rid of Stafford to go chase a ring, because he probably would have never got one with Detroit. Totally respect that. Definitely will be keeping tabs on him in LA. But Goff, eh, uh, he'll do okay. I just hope our line will be better to protect him than I think LA. I haven't really heard a lot about LA's offensive line, but hopefully, we stir up some magic in the NFC North. Pull a little couple upsets. We'll see though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I hate to say it's tough to be a Detroit fan, sports fan for a couple of the
Yeah.
sports for you guys. That's tough.
It's all the sports now. We're just at that time where all the sports aren't at the best, but
Yeah. It's got to turn around eventually.
it's got to.
Yeah,
It's got
it has
to.
to. There has to be some kind of turnaround. I also try. I want to ask you some other fun questions because we usually talk about stuff outside of your playing career and everything like that. But do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
I have a pregame ritual. I get the same order from Tropical Smoothie Cafe before every game. Uh, just feel like that's very important. I don't know why. Started junior year, because I was hungry one time and I ended up playing good. So I was like, I'm gonna keep rolling with it. So
What's the order?
I get a chicken bacon ranch, flatbread with the jalapeno chips and a sunrise sunset.
Wow, that sounds good. I never had tropical smoothie, but it sounds really good.
Yeah, I would recommend it, but that's just me speaking, because I have a little bit of sweet tooth here. So,
Yeah,
but that's like my one like ritual or superstition. Uh, Definitely I gotta have the certain socks too. I gotta have I gotta have all the matching same color. Like if we're wearing white, it's gotta be white. If we're wearing black, you gotta be black.
yeah, definitely. That's really cool. Those are some good ones. I mean, I definitely understand the one if you have like a good meal and you just It keeps you had a good game from after you eat that meal. I would stick with that meal the whole way,
Yeah.
all the way. Do you have favorite music and favorite artist?
I listen to rap, but probably my go-to like song or artist before a game is probably like NBA Youngboy. Not a lot of people like him, but I think his music gets the blood flowing. It's
Yeah.
like it's like some people listen like to rock because it's like gets the blood flowing. I think NBA Youngboy is that person in rap who gets your blood flowing before a game. So
So there's a lot of kids that came on here that mentioned NBA Youngboy or someone that they're big fans of before a game to listen to. So that's definitely it's a good choice. I've heard it's a good. I've always told don't listen to X because you end up in your feelings or something like that. That's what someone
yeah,
said to me.
but hey, some basketball players claim they play better or they work out better when they're listening to in your feelings music. So
Yeah.
but I personally wouldn't listen to X because I'm trying to get my adrenaline going, not going down, going up.
That'd be sad during a game for sure.
Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
No, probably sushi. Definitely sushi.
Ooh, good choice. What's
Uh,
the order on sushi?
my go-to order is a spicy California roll. But I pretty much eat any type of sushi.
Nice.
So but typically my mom orders it, but I eat any type of sushi. But my go-to is definitely a spicy California roll.
That's a good choice. It's a really good choice. And then last question I have for you. What's your favorite thing to just do outside of basketball and sports in general?
Sleep.
Sleep? Yeah.
I play a little bit. I play video games a little bit, but I mean, I don't really do anything outside of basketball. Probably watch TV,
Yeah.
but sleep and TV are the two main things. Uh, love sleeping. I take naps all the time
Hey, there's nothing
outside of
wrong with
working out.
that. I'm right there with you. I take a bunch of naps right there too. What's the TV shows that you're watching? Anything good?
Nah, I'm not really watching any right now.
Yeah.
Just kind of watching YouTubers. But I'm waiting for All American to get for season 3 to get on Netflix to watch that. Because I wanted to watch it like on live television, but I had practice and I missed the first episode, and I was like, I'm not going to ruin this for me, so I'm going to wait until it comes out on Netflix.
Yeah, it's a smart idea.
So
Did you watch Last Chance You by any chance?
I did, I
What'd you think
did.
about that?
Uh, it was interesting because it's always interesting on where the JUCO is, because I know California is crazy because they don't offer housing, but just think it's cool to see some like former bounce back players get that second opportunity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was really, really, really good. That's all the questions I have for you, Charlie. Do you have any questions, comments, statements before we sign off?
no, not really. Just want to thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Anytime, man. Once a guest, you're always a guest. Anytime you want to come back on, even we could talk some Pistons draft, or we could talk some, Lions football, whatever you want to do. Whenever you want to come back on, you're always welcome back on the show. It was great having you, man, and congratulations on your commitment to playing at Finlandia University. That's awesome for you, and keep doing what you're doing. Keep working hard because great things are just coming down the line for you as well, too.
Thank you, thank you. Definitely after the NBA draft, I'll ask to come back on and talk some Pistons talk,
Yeah, yeah.
draft
We
talk.
need a Pistons guy. We need someone to talk Pistons. We're all Celtics out here. So
Yeah, definitely. I'll talk about any team. But definitely talk about the Pistons when they draft someone. Hopefully it's someone good. But if they tend to draft how they draft, they'll eventually draft the bust because hopefully they'll get top 3.
who
But we'll see.
who they draft this past year?
Killian Hayes. They love their foreigners
Yeah.
because last year we drafted Sadiku Dombu Bay or something like that. Or 2 years ago we drafted him.
Yeah.
Definitely love our foreigners.
Wow. All right. Well, that's interesting. We'll see what happens this year for you guys. Hope you guys get Suggs like you've been wanting. So we'll see what happens with that. But Charlie, this has been a lot of fun. I can't thank you enough for being on the show.
All right, thank you.
No problem.